Welcome to Rants for Democracy, where we expose the lies, break down the chaos, and fight for the future. No fluff, no filter, just hard truths and real talk about the state of our democracy. My name is Nicole, and today we're diving into a major development in Canada's battle against the opioid crisis. Something that's making waves not just here, but across the border as well. Canada has just appointed its first ever Fentanyl Czar, Kevin Brosseau. His job? To crack down on the illegal flow of fentanyl into the United States and coordinate a national effort against this deadly drug. But what does that actually mean? And more importantly, will it work? Let's break it down. Fentanyl has become one of the most dangerous drugs on the streets today. It's a synthetic opiate up to 100 times stronger than morphine, and it's fueling an overdose epidemic in North America. In 2023 alone, over 74,000 Americans died from opiate overdoses. Here in Canada, we've seen similar devastation with cities like Vancouver and Toronto struggling to contain the crisis. Most of the fentanyl in the US comes through the southern border via Mexico, but some of it is coming in through Canada. And while the numbers are significantly smaller, 19.5 kilograms seized at the northern border versus nearly 9,600 kilograms at the southern border, any amount of fentanyl can be deadly. That's why this new position of Fentanyl Czar was created. Kevin is a former senior RCMP officer with over 20 years of law enforcement experience. He's served as deputy commissioner and has worked on national security and intelligence issues. Now, as the Fentanyl Czar, his job is to coordinate Canada's approach to stopping fentanyl at the border and working with the US officials to tackle trafficking networks. On his first day in office, Kevin made it clear the goal is to bring the amount of fentanyl smuggled from Canada into the US down to zero. That's an ambitious target, but how realistic is it? I guess we'll find out. So what exactly does the Fentanyl Czar do? Well, his role is still taking shape, but here's what we know so far. He's expected to coordinate between law enforcement agencies like the RCMP and the Canada Border Services Agency. He'll be working closely with the US, particularly with Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. Intelligence sharing and cross-border operations are a key part of his mission. But there are some major challenges ahead. Fentanyl trafficking isn't just about stopping drugs at the border. The real issue is that fentanyl is produced in illegal labs, often overseas, and then shipped through complex smuggling routes. Some of it comes through Mexico, some through China, and some through online marketplaces on the dark web. Another big issue, domestic fentanyl production is on the rise in Canada. So even if we cut down on cross-border smuggling, we still have a homegrown problem we're going to have to deal with. Now, let's talk politics, because there's a lot of that at play here. Trump has been vocal about fentanyl coming from Canada, using it as part of his broader argument for imposing tariffs on Canadian goods. In fact, Kevin's appointment came just before Trump was set to impose a massive 25% tariff on Canadian exports. That tariff is now on hold, but only until March 4th, and if it is imposed, it will be imposed at 50% for the month of March. In theory, if Kevin can show progress in cracking down on fentanyl trafficking, it might ease trade tensions between the two countries. But if there's little improvement, Canada could be facing some serious economic consequences. Canada has already committed $1.3 billion to strengthening border security, including new tech, more border agents, and even helicopters. But fentanyl is just one part of a larger problem. Both the US and Canada have designated Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations, which could dramatically change how law enforcement approaches this issue. While border security is a major focus, Public Safety Minister David McGuinty has also emphasized that tackling demand is critical. Without addressing addiction, treatment, and mental health services, stopping fentanyl at the border is just playing defense rather than solving the root of the problem. So what's next for Canada's Fentanyl Czar? Well, Kevin has a tough job ahead of him. He needs to balance enforcement with diplomacy, all while navigating the complexities of the opioid crisis. If he succeeds, we could see tighter drug policies, improved intelligence sharing, and hopefully a reduction in fentanyl-related deaths. If he fails, the crisis continues and Canada could find itself in Trump's economic crosshairs. No pressure, though. In the coming weeks, Kevin plans to meet with the senior US officials, including Tom Homan, to solidify cross-border cooperation. The Canadian government has also hinted at potential policy shifts. They already said they would designate Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations, a move that aligns with Trump's hardening stance on drug trafficking. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this unfolds in the coming months. But what do you think? Will Kevin's appointment make a difference? Or is this just political theater? Let me know in the comments. That's it for today. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. See you in the next one. You made it this far, you're clearly fired up, so don't let the algorithm bury this. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next rant. And if you really want to shake things up, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep the pressure on, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.